Okay. Good morning, Ziad or Ziad. Please forgive me for, I'm sure I mispronounced your name. When we meet, you can correct me. This is my attempt to go through your portfolio here and give you the analysis of all of the tokens in your portfolio. I'm just simply going to go chart by chart, looking at all of these that I possibly can to kind of give you a sense of where each of these assets is. Looking at the Sol chart, Sol is strong. I'm not sure when you bought it. If you bought it when Digital Dave called it, well, I bought it around 60 cents or something like that down in here. And so it's doing very well, and it looks like it's going to continue to do well to me. I've got these targets of $5, $6, and then $11 and $12 if it continues to move. That is, once the market as a whole starts to pump. However, looking at it on the weekly chart, the only question is this the top of the RSI? Because if we make a lower high here in the RSI, that's when I'll start to cycle out of it. So I'll be watching this to see what it does on the weekly chart. But I'm believing I'm expecting it to at least hit this $5 to $6 target area before it goes into consolidation, and that would be a nice 10x on our investment before we need to start, taking some profits cycling out. Whoops. MACDs are not giving me as much information at this time, but looking at near on the weekly and simply focusing on the convergence divergence between the price and the RSI. Well, we could do it from here. Well, first of all, we see that we've got an uptrend here. It's a clearly bullish uptrend. However, it is an ascending narrowing wedge. So at some point, it should probably break down. And then secondly, we've got lower highs here in the RSI. Even though we do have an uptrend here in the RSI, let's see. Yeah, so we've got an uptrend in the RSI and the lows that converge. This is convergence, meaning the price action of the RSI is doing the same thing. I was looking to see if there's any bearish divergence, but the highs are diverging, and when the highs are I was looking for bullish divergence. Sorry, I was looking for hidden bullish divergence. But when you've got the highs diverging and you're making lower highs in the RSI but higher highs in the price, that's bearish divergence, which says to me that you're coming to the end. And let's see, we hit the top of the RSI here on September 21st. Now, however, there's one potential saving grace here, is that the high here was only 78. So it's still a possibility that we break above this and make a higher high in the RSI. But looking at this pattern concerns me. This is bearish divergence. And so, you have a higher high here in the price, but lower highs in the RSI. And so what this tends to do is if it gets one more pump here, then it kind of breaks down, and then this kind of does something like that. I mean, this is really aggressive. It's not going to be that severe, you understand. I just would expect this to break down at some point and then consolidate. So what are you going to do with that? Well, it depends on your long-term strategy. Do you believe in this for the long term, or was this something that you were holding to get a quick pump? I mean, did you buy it over here? Let's see what it's done to date. I mean, from its bottom to its top, that's 3,400%. So I don't know how much of that you actually got. Moving on to SLP. It's been a great disappointment. Another Digital Dave pick. And we are down 92.77% from its high. The one saving grace of SLP is it can't get much lower. So looking at the weekly, the RSI is oversold. Well, we don't even need a trend line there. We just need to see that it's down into 27% in terms of oversold territory. And then when it's 92% from its top, all I can say for SLP is I just anticipate it's got to be bottoming out. I just can't see that it's going to get much lower. It just, I'm just holding mine. I may buy a few more simply because I bought it. I think I bought it in this wick or something. I don't know. Looking at Rose, hidden bullish divergence. We're making higher highs, but higher lows in the price, lower lows in the RSI. That's bullish. That's good. Secondly, looking at the RSI, it's in the middle of its range. And then we've made a higher high here in the tops. That means the run's not over. So what I'm expecting is to come back up here and revisit this top at least one more time. And it may come up, visit the top, come back down to the middle, and then come up and visit the top again later in the year. We just have to watch it. But this has plenty of juice left in it before it tops out. Plenty of juice left in it. And if I could kind of do, I don't think I've done any price analysis targets for Rose. Let me see if I were to do a target for Rose. What would that look like? Okay. So just simple trend analysis, say if it remains in this trend, and if I'm expecting the market to keep running until, say, August, I believe is like the first week of August, if this runs all the way, let's see. So if it stays in the trend by August, it could be 83 cents. Am I? No, that's the problem. Sorry. Let me try this again. All right. Sorry, I was looking at a linear chart instead of a logarithmic chart. That's a big mistake. Okay, let's try this again. Let's start over here. So, yeah, if you look at this on a log chart, the hidden bullish divergence is even more prominent. Look at that. Look what type of an uptrend we're looking at in the price, but somewhat of a downtrend here in the RSI. Now, let's do our trend analysis to see where this trend takes us if we continue to honor it. All right, okay. From this perspective, it looks more like a ascending, narrowing wedge. So it'll just depend on whether we break bullish or bearish above it. All right. I think it's probably better to understand this as a new trend and draw the lines. Even still, it's narrowing. See that? Even still, it's narrowing, and it narrows all the way till March. So yeah, okay. So if we stay in the trend, it's going to take us to about 80 cents by March. Not epic by any stretch of the imagination. However, if we break above the trend, this could be pretty epic. All right, so let's start over and let's look at it this way. Sorry, I haven't looked at this chart before, so I'm just kind of getting my bearings for what we could be seeing here. All right. Okay, so a couple things to keep in mind. Number one, this is an ascending narrowing wedge. which is most of the time, it's bearish. It's inherently bullish because it moves upward. But what it tends to do is break down bearish. Forget about the time frame. I mean, that it could happen. It could do this, or it could just break down bearish. Okay, so I don't know whether it's got one more pump in it or not. If it breaks down bearish, then what's going to happen is it's going to consolidate for a while before it breaks out. So what I'd mostly be interested in is the support. So if it breaks down bearish, the support levels I would expect to see are between 14. Okay, let's see. It could break down. Yeah, I was going to say I would expect a maximum of 80% if it breaks down bearish out of here. However, if the market takes off and this thing breaks out bullish, then I would expect about a 600% pump above the trend. So let's say this thing breaks out above this bullish. Let's say it breaks out bullish around here. And this is very arbitrary. It could break out at another point. But if it broke out here, I would expect something like $3.90. And then we would just have to evaluate. At that point, we'd have to reevaluate kind of where it's going. So anyway, I'm holding some rows too, just a little bit. I think what I would personally do is if it breaks down bearish, buy some within this accumulation zone. And I would probably put a sweet spot right here around 11 cents. That would be my target. So if it breaks down, I would buy it between 9 and 14 cents. And if it breaks bullish, I just hold that junk all the way to the top. Eternity chain, I don't know how to pronounce that right. All I'm seeing here, I mean, there's not a whole lot of information. This is a daily chart, so the chart only goes back to November 9th. Looks like it launched and then it just broke down, which tends to happen. You know, stuff launches, there's excitement about it, the excitement dies down. Folks, you know, bought here and then took some profit up here, okay? But it seems to be consolidating between 8.5 and 10.5 cents, and this consolidation range is really an accumulation range. So if I believed in this, I would probably just start slowly accumulating it for as long as it stays in here, and who knows how long it's going to stay in there before it breaks out. Not enough information in the chart. It's inconclusive. BCH, a little heartbreak around BCH. All right, so just looking at the bottom of this, it's like 78%, which I just don't see it breaking very much lower than that. I mean, 83% tends to be kind of the bottom of. But if you, as you see, we're kind of honoring this line right here. I mean, that's kind of the, well, we did wick beneath that. But so let's go down to that wick and say this is the bottom. And that means it's 78% down. All I'm doing with BCH right now is, well, I'm not at the moment, but all I would be doing with BCH is accumulating more and just waiting. BCH is a little frustrating. All right, looking at Ethereum. Oops. I don't know why I have that there anyway. Ethereum is bullish. This is an uptrend. RSI is flat. Even though the RSI is flat and not downtrend, that's still hidden bullish divergence. In other words, it would be convergence. The RSI and the price would be converging if we had an uptrend in the lows of the RSI. But we don't. We've got flat lows in the RSI, uptrend in the price. That is hidden bullish divergence, which means that probably Ethereum's run is not done. It's got at least one more pump in it. However, no, because see, we're making higher highs again in the RSI here too. That's bullish. So we'll have to watch this and see. Atlas, not a whole lot of information here. Let's see if I can get any RSI here. Yeah, let's look at it on the daily. I don't like daily charts as much because I like that macro perspective. But the one thing we can see is there's this upward, see this? We got a low here, it's higher. And let's see. Well, we've kind of broken beneath the trend here on the daily. But even though we've broken beneath the trend, let's say if we go here, even if we go all the way here, we're still making a higher low. So you see how this low is higher than this low, which is still bullish. However, if you look at the RSI, once again, hidden bullish divergence from here to where the RSI is now is lower lows, higher lows. So if we just draw the line from here and look at, let's say, this low to this low, higher lows, clear uptrend in the price, clear downtrend in the RSI, hidden bullish divergence on the daily. Which is not quite as significant as hidden bullish divergence on the weekly, but it's still significant. Still means we can see another bounce. Not to mention, we're making higher highs here. All right, so if we got higher highs, all right, if we continue to make higher highs here, then we might be at support. If we're at support here in the price, we could bounce up to, 28 cents or something like that. And if we look at the range, we've come down 56% from the top. May or may not be enough, hard to tell. Just have to wait and see. Are we going to break beneath this line? Are we going to and keep going down? Or are we going to bounce? So for me, if I were holding this, I would just keep holding it. Theta token, another heartbreak in terms of why hasn't it broken out by now? However, we've double tapped this line here at $3.54. And so a double tap is significant. Are we going to triple tap it? To me, Theta token is a big buy right now. I mean, we've got this, a flat to a slight uptrend in the RSI, but downtrend in the, downtrend in the RSI, flat to slight uptrend of the price. That's hidden bullish divergence as well. It's all over the market. Veracity has come and double tapped this line. Flat in the price, downtrend in the RSI, hidden bullish divergence again for Veracity. So who knows how long we're going to consolidate, but I still expect Veracity to take off and do quite well. I'm not sure what this is. Oli, I don't know if it's Elysium. There was no chart against the US dollar, but this looks pretty strong against wrapped ETH. You got a clear uptrend here. However, the RSI could come back down and touch this line, and it's still bullish. And then you've got a symmetric triangle here. This is a 3-day chart, though. So it's got to make a decision pretty soon here whether it's going to go up or down. It's not quite a symmetric triangle, is it? I'm not sure. It's symmetric in terms of the height and the depth, but think we could probably do something like this. And then I don't even know. There's just no height on it. I just have to watch it. It's inconclusive in terms of its directionality, but you've got bullish RSI, which is strong. So even if it has to break down for a little while before breaking out, the RSI tells me that it's probably getting ready to run. It's just that on the weekly, the RSI is just flat. It's just flat. And there's just no volume. That's the only concern. The volume is almost nothing. I mean, you had one little pump of volume here. Look at this, $52 million. And now you got 1 million. What's 1.2 million? So it just needs some volume. Looks like not very many people are trading it. I probably just hold it long term. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Let's see what the volume is doing here. This is yes, very low volume, 48 million. But look at the RSI. It's starting to bounce. Yeah, see, so we had really very pronounced hidden bullish divergence here. And now the RSI is bouncing back up against these, bouncing back up into this territory here. This line should be more like here. Strong bounce in the RSI. Price action starting to bounce too. So I know it's taken much longer than anticipated, but I think it's going to pay off. Multivac, another one of those. Yeah, we've got clear hidden bullish divergence again. From here to here, it's an uptrend. And then from here to here, it's a downtrend. Hidden bullish divergence. So I think we're preparing to move up towards another target. We're preparing for the next wave. And that wave can take us up quite a bit if you just kind of look at the trend analysis. So let's see if we do get a wave up to 12 cents. That's like 10x, 11x, 12x. That's pretty epic. 12. Wow. I might have to pick up a few more multivac. Yeah, because this move here, we had 9,400%. If we get a pump to 25 cents, this is like 25x, something like that. 27x. So we touched this line here. We touched it again. If we touch it again up here, we're talking about 27x from where it is. But how long are we going to consolidate here? I don't know. Zilliqa. You're breaking my heart, Zilliqa. I think Zilliqa may have to consolidate for quite a while. It's just heartbreak. Well, we'll see. I mean, if we don't count that wick when Bitcoin dumped, then we're seeing hidden bullish divergence here, just like we're seeing on every other chart. So we'll just have to wait and see. But in terms of trend analysis, I mean, the trend is strong. I mean, if we get a breakout and this move goes all the way to August, it'll just, see. It'll just depend upon when we touch the line again. So my targets here are 87 cents, $5.41, and $8.87 for Zilliqa. I'm just going to hold mine, see what happens. Victoria VR. Don't know what the crap this is. Will only give me a daily chart because it's very new RSI. Oops. RSI. RSI, Relative Strength Index. Even on the daily, yeah, it's just inconclusive. But really what we can see here that's just very clear is that we're in an accumulation range. And the accumulation range is here. And so when we're done accumulating, we'll break above this range, probably. But it looks to me like the bottom is down here at 28 cents. We're at 41 cents. Accumulate, accumulate, accumulate. But I have no idea in terms of timing or price predictions because the chart doesn't give me any of those. Shiba Inu. I don't care that it's a meme coin, but just looking at the consolidation range, we touched the 70% pullback level. If we went down as low as the 80% pullback level, basically, it'd be like 1798, way down there. When I set these two lines, I said this was my accumulation range. So if I were to buy it, I would try to buy it. But, I mean, it looks like this could be the bottom, that it's touched the bottom already, and it may not break beneath this line, which means it might be safe to start accumulating. But if I was holding it, I certainly would just keep holding it because, I mean, anything that does this, my goodness. Okay, 1,200%. Where was the bottom of this? Yeah, 21. Well, 2,100% is not quite as epic as people anticipate this to be. I mean, for instance, if you did a Elliott wave analysis, I mean, basically, let's say we did another 1,200%. And let's say this is the bottom. Am I not logarithmic? I keep making that mistake. We go another 1,200%. Basically, that would take us up here. Another way of looking at that, if we get rid of this, I still don't think we're logarithmic. Yeah, there it is. Another way of looking at this is to grab a bars pattern and say we did this, right? Grab that bars pattern. Yeah, see, we weren't logarithmic. It really looks more like this. And then we could even set, you know, some targets, yeah, see, along the way. And say here's some levels we expect to hit on the way to getting there. But that is contingent upon this being the bottom. If this is the bottom, then this is, I would expect the wave to look something like this. You know, understanding that we may not hit that top level, but we should hit these other levels along the way if we get that kind of a breakout. So we'll see. I mean, we'll watch it. Baby Dogecoin. First of all, let me make sure. Sometimes I have to go through these one by one to make sure that it's actually giving me a log chart. Indicators, RSI. Baby Doge. All right, the RSI is bearish. Price is bearish. I mean, you had a low here, and you're making a lower low in the price, and then lower low in the RSI. Well, I guess if you start here. Yep, still not much information. But still an uptrend. Clear uptrend in the price. And then let's see. See what this is doing. Seems like it's kind of narrowing here. Slightly. It just needs more time. More time to see where this goes, and then we'll... But I mean, what we can say is if we come back up here and touch the price, I don't know if that's meaningful at all. But if we come back up here, you know, it's about 600% if we touch this line again. Depending on where we touch it, I mean, it could be more, it could be less. So we'll see. We just can't break down here. I mean, if we break down, we basically have to redraw these lines and figure out where the trend actually is. But it feels like it's bottoming out because you kind of get this this rounding. See how it seems to be like rounding? So like minus this wick here, it just feels like it's rounding. And that's typically what the price action does when it's bottoming out. I'll just leave that there because it could give us something like this, you know, coming up to the next price. All right. What was I doing here? Wrapped Ether Quadrant Protocol. We the Quad. Ooh, we the Quad. Okay. Let's take a look at the RSI. All right, so you've got a severe downtrend in the RSI. I mean, if you start up here, bam. Wow. And if you look at it differently, it could, you know, if you look at it like that, it's probably better to look at it like this. Now let's see if we follow this. Okay, so this is a descending, broadening wedge, which is actually bullish, which means we can bounce around in here, but at some point I expect a bullish break from this. How long does that take? I don't know. I don't know. But at some point, I expect a bullish break from this. Now, but with that being said, let's say we come back, touch the top, come back, touch the bottom. That means that we, the quad, is going to have further down to go. Now, when you look at this historically, from the bottom here to the top, that was 2,700%. So it's had a nice move, okay? Now, and it was over a 252-day period. And then let's take it from here, from the top here to where we are now. That's only a 59% pullback. So that the bottom of that was 63%. You know, we could see as much as 80% on these charts. And actually, we can actually extend this. We would say it took about 287 days. Now we've seen a 105-day pullback. Now what we could see, let me see if we get some lines of support and resistance to verify this. Okay, yeah, so here's a clear. So you see how this was a clear, first it was resistance, we broke down, resistance, and then it became support. And actually, if we take it all the way back over here, it was resistance, then it became support, bam, capitulated beneath it. Now it's resistance, then we break above it, support. So we could come back down and revisit this line. And so that would correspond to about, well, that's 78%, but what if we go up? Yep. Yep, 78.92%. So I would say that this is probably the bottom. What the heck is this? 146,693. Am I even looking at the right chart? So let me know if I'm not looking at the right chart. My bad. But this is all I could find for quadrant protocol. I think that's what's on your, well, sorry. Baby Doge, Rome Dow, quad. I couldn't find Rome Dow. Yeah, so that's all I could find. Quad, centric swap. Okay. I think Hex was on there too. All right. Centric swap, the bottom of this junk was 97%. And then from there we went up 1,600%. And then from there, we've pulled back to the bottom of that, 77%. So it looks like we've got a clear line of support here. I mean, for 1, 2, 3 weeks, we've been hitting support there. So let's see if that corresponds to anything in here. Huh. Well, yeah. Look at this. Bam. So let's get rid of this so we can see this more clearly. So you see how this line here was resistance. For all this time it was resistance. Look, we came right up and touched it and broke down resistance, resistance. Then we broke above it and it was support. We wicked way beneath it, but then recovered quickly. Support, support, support. We capitulated beneath it. Resistance, resistance. We break above it. We come back down to try to retest it. We come back down, wick beneath it. And now it's support, support, support. So it looks like we are at support. Please. So with that being said, I'm just going to hold this junk. Now, where could we go from here? What if we get another move like this? If this is truly support and we get another move like this, that would be epic to say the least, right? That would take us up above our all-time high. What's the percentage? Yeah, that's 21x. And we're making 300% APY. So, whoops, let's leave that there. So, see some targets along the way. Okay. So that's what I see happening with CNS. I'm just holding mine forever, honestly. Hex, I think you got Hex. Dude, Hex is beastly. Oh, are you not holding Hex? I haven't talked to the group about Hex. Wow. Hex looks pretty strong. Looks Hex is strong. All right, we'll talk about Hex soon. I could not get Ron, and I could not get Bump. Both of those. Yeah. Sorry. All right, so that's your portfolio, bro. That's all of the charts that I could possibly chart. That's all I could get. I want to say, number one, you look very well diversified. Number two, you have strong positions in the strongest assets. You're a risk taker. I can see that. You're like me. in a lot of ways. You got a lot of low caps, and you're taking some chances and some bets on some of these. I think as long as your goal is to hold long term, I think you should be in a strong position. The question is there anything I would change? Not necessarily. I mean, holding 1 Ethereum is good. Just hold that junk. Strong Zilliqa. And, the stuff that's more risky, it looks like you've got smaller positions in anyway. If you were thinking to expand into anything else, I mean, of course, I preach this one. There's no referral or anything, but I'm big on Cake Token. You know that already. What time is it? Yeah, I gotta go. So anyway, Cake Token is beastly in my opinion. Whoops, what'd I do? Okay. All right, so yeah, if there's anything that you wanted to get, you could think about Cake Token. Right now, I think it's 68% APY on Pancake Swap, and so I'm just holding that junk. All right, Brozowski, that's all I got for you today. We can talk more about this when we have our actual meeting. Bless you, bro, and I'll talk to you soon.